Good morning. How is everyone doing today for our Mentorship Monday? My name is Cory Fisk, and I'm the founder of Construction Management Online. We are a construction management education program that allows you to learn while you work. But today we're talking to real construction managers about questions that they have in being a construction manager. So the best way to be able to learn other than education is to have mentorship. So we're just going to start by answering a few questions today, starting in our skill builder. What question do you have? The first question is, how do you foster teamwork in a construction crew, especially in a world where people feel disconnected from corporate interests? This is an interesting question and probably something that a lot more people are dealing with right now than what we would like to admit. A lot of this is very similar to looking at our different political views. They've become so incredibly polar that it makes it difficult to have a conversation. And I think that the most important thing to remember anytime that you're leading a team or trying to have collaboration is recognizing and understanding in that moment you are a mentor. We're always one step ahead or two steps ahead of someone else or one step behind. So no matter where you're at in your career, you can offer mentorship to others. And by being able to educate them through situations that they've never been in before or have not had much exposure is an opportunity to be able to guide someone into unfamiliar or uncomfortable ground until they can gain their footing and feel better in that particular situation. Now, if team members are on a construction crew, they could be there for a lot of different reasons. They could be there because it's always been their dream to be in the construction industry. And the easiest way for them to do that was just to get their foot in the door. And they're just working their way up the ladder in order to be able to get where they want to go. But there's other people in the construction industry that are using it simply as a way to meet ends. Being able to bring a paycheck home and not have a whole lot of experience in that particular area. And so when we have people that are in positions that are unsatisfactory to their own personal growth and goals, then they don't have an interest in seeing that as a collaborative event. So if they are not interested in promoting this company, if they're not interested in promoting the corporate interests of this particular company, if they are not interested in this work or how amazing it's going to be when it's all finished and accomplished, then they're not going to be vested. They're not going to really understand why it's important that they put their best effort forward and be able to really contribute to what's going on. So a lot of this is stemmed from the fact that they don't have a whole lot of worth in themselves, or they don't have a whole lot of care about what you're doing. So making sure that the people that you're hiring have the same kind of love, interest, passion, and drive for what you're doing so that you can have that collaborative impact on your team. Now, it doesn't mean that we're always going to be doing everything that we love and that there are not going to be times that we have to perform work that moves outside of our love and our interest. But it's recognizing that sometimes these steps are necessary to get us to the final goal. So if we can see things as a master plan, a big picture, and understand that even when we are having good times, there must be some bad times, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and we're going to be able to work through it to get to the other side, then having hope and having evidence that this is available to us is going to be part of what we're going to use to inspire and motivate team members, even when they don't have a 100% vested interest in the way that the company is moving or the way the company is doing things. So our main goal is always to provide for ourselves, our family, provide protection, provide monetary balance, and sometimes a job is a means to an end. But if we're going to be having any kind of longevity in our teams and in our own careers, we want to make sure that we are in positions that we can care about, that we can invest in, and that are going to be able to provide a win-win situation for everyone involved. So I hope that you have more available information on how to create a collaborative team by providing education to inspire, motivate, let people know that they're important to the worth and to the ability and capabilities of this job being able to be completed, and that they're an important part of that. Okay. So our next question is it better to gain experience in commercial projects before moving to residential construction, or start with smaller projects? So I love this question because we really should have that master plan understanding of our career and what in the end do we want our career opportunity to look like? What is our vision for what our career is going to be? Once we understand that, then we can choose jobs that are going to align in the experience and education that we're going to need in order to achieve that career. Now, the reason I say that is because many people just go grab the just go grab the job in order to be able to pay for things while they're working on the development of their career. So for instance, I've had a person who was a pizza delivery person, and he used to do some side jobs with his dad on the weekends. He would paint, and they would just do some side work. And he came to me one day and he's like, I just can't quit my pizza delivery job because it makes really good money and tips, but I want to be a construction manager. And so I'm going to keep delivering pizzas while I am working on my construction education. So this does two things. First and foremost, he's able to focus on his education and do it with a job that's very flexible and works very well for him. Unfortunately, it doesn't include the life, hands-on, practical construction knowledge experience that is so incredibly important when we're working on our college education in construction. But the other thing that I want to recognize is that even as a pizza delivery guy, we're able to establish skill sets that are going to transition very well into construction management. I mean, we're going to have to know how to read maps, read drawings, be able to get from point A to point B. We're going to have to communicate with diverse individuals when we go knock on the door or we try to negotiate our way away from a dog that's in the yard. So these are skills that we develop in life that we're going to be able to transition over into construction management tasks. But in a perfect world, you would start at that lower level of a construction entry job and use that practical construction knowledge as a baseline to be able to add your college education construction knowledge to. And so when we're looking at commercial construction versus residential construction, it's very important to understand the very key differences, and that really is going to be in materials. So the types of materials that we use in construction are going to require different skill sets in your construction experience than in residential. So in residential, we're going to be using probably a lot more wood. And so a lot more carpentry and framing is going to be involved in our development versus commercial, which is going to be concrete and steel, which we're still going to have the need for skills in carpentry, like layout and being able to do form work. But we're also going to be learning about concrete and welding and other things that go into commercial aspect. The other thing about commercial, there's usually more technical things involved. So we're talking about low voltage systems that are going to be used. We're talking about a higher production need for electricity and for HVAC systems. And so everything that we're going to be working with is probably going to be just a bit bigger. And so it's going to have more information around those types of disciplines. Now, working in residential and building big, beautiful design custom homes is extremely rewarding. And in some of those homes, there are going to be very technical aspects that you're going to see. But the other thing that we want to keep in mind is that when we are working commercial and residential, there are different ebbs and flows in the construction industry. And so when there's a lot of commercial work going on, there's usually a little downwards going in the residential. And a lot of this has to do with our bonding and funding and how we're creating neighborhoods and communities. And so recognizing that if you're going to have an overall amount of experience that allows you to be able to jump from residential to commercial and from commercial to residential, then in my personal opinion, focusing on work in the commercial field is going to give you a bigger, broader knowledge of the construction industry and the different aspects of construction. Now, this is not the case if you are going to be a specialized contractor in design custom homes. But if you're looking at doing spec homes in some type of a subdivision, then if you have the opportunity to start in the retail aspect of that subdivision, working in the commercial construction, it's going to give you experience with light gauge framing, which is going to transfer over really well to wood framing, but you're also going to have additional knowledge in concrete and structural steel and dealing with larger disciplines in electrical, HVAC, and plumbing. So for those reasons, I suggest doing commercial over residential. Anytime that you can start off on a small project, that is good. But I will also explain that whether it's a lot of small projects or one big project, I personally prefer to have the focus on one big project that you're managing, because many small projects can have many small problems. And so it takes a little bit more expertise to be able to keep track of all of that and be able to put those fires out really fast. So whatever you do, I hope that you're able of having jobs that align with your master plan and where you want to see your career in the future. That brings us to the last question today. And what can be done to retain quality talent and offer competitive pay packages? Well, I will say in old school, it was moving from construction company to construction company, and you usually tried to get something between a $2,000 to $10,000 bump every time you moved to a different position. I will also say that during that time that companies viewed loyalty very, very highly. And so when you were able to start with a company and show loyalty, then that company reciprocated and provided growth and training, mentorship, leadership in order to be able to promote from within. And this has escaped us a little bit, and it's been unfortunate because a lot of people who now are staying loyal to a company are missing out on opportunities for big bumps or increase in pay that end up really being given to somebody who's being hired from outside of the company in order to take a position that maybe that person wanted, but wasn't looked at seriously for the promotion because they were too valuable in the position that they currently hold, or that they may not have some of the same qualifications via certifications and degrees that were on their resume that may have helped bump them up to that next position. And so when we're looking at trying to really keep our workforce and maintain a workforce that loves and appreciates us, then it's important that we have a culture and community and company that shows love and investment in their employees. Now, my pushback that I get from the companies on this is, well, I don't want to be training my workers to go to work for someone else. Well, then someone else must be paying better, number one. Number two is, if you give the kind of company culture and community that is important to your employee, that even if they do leave, they'll want to come back. And that second round, or that retread that comes back into your company, is usually one of the best employees that you can possibly have, because now they've already tested the grass on the other side of the fence, and it might have been greener, but it was covered with pesticides. So bring them back home and treat your employees right. And that's what kind of pay packages are going to be important. I think what is also really important is helping employees understand the value of benefits. So health benefits, the benefit of a gas card, the benefit of a vehicle, the benefit of being able to be reimbursed for tires on their own personal vehicle, are things where a company can find opportunities to write off expenses, but at the same time be able to provide and support benefits and opportunities that will help their employees. So a pay package isn't always about the final number and what the total salary is going to be. It could be the promise of educational opportunities and development by giving them a membership into Construction Management Online, where they can have certain packages that are going to help promote and advance their growth and education in construction management and make their job more fun, more effective, more proficient, which in all is going to be able to make your company more profitable. So when we're looking at different opportunities for pay packages, just recognize that part of it is educating about the benefits that can benefit both the company and the employee in moving forward. The benefits of hiring from within, developing a streamed pipeline within your company that shows employees the opportunity for mentorship and succession, and being able to train their replacement so that they can find another step up the rung of the ladder, and being able to really invest in your employees and offer opportunities that show growth for your company. This is all done through strategic planning and being able to develop a business master plan that includes the growth of your employees and the growth of your company, showing future pathways of expansion that an employee is going to have to be the leader of. And being really open about these, a lot of times in an annual conference, showing them the plans and the ideas and the things that the company's interested in doing, is going to stimulate innovation and creativity and the investment of your employees with your company. So I hope that those were all three good answers for some of the mentorship that we're talking about for today's Mentorship Monday. The next step that you can do in building your personal growth in the construction industry is by joining our monthly membership for Skill Builder. This is going to be a library of resources that are going to show you task-specific construction management things that you can do in order to be better at your job. And one of the main reasons why I designed this was because of the frustration being heard by superintendents trying to do their work while being asked to shadow somebody who was new to the construction industry. And then they didn't have time to really help that person because they were performing their own work. And then that person didn't have any guidance or hand holding when they were sent back to the trailer to go put a submittal together. And so these videos that have been offered in Skill Builder are going to be very specific, and they are going to be able to be picked and chosen as the individual needs the help and support. And so I think that you're going to love the opportunity to really dive deep into your construction management expertise with our Skill Builder program. Oh, as always, you can be here with me on Mondays at 10 a.m. I am and want to just put it out there, really excited about the Women in Construction Conference, which is going to be this Thursday, held in Sacramento, California. Make sure to come by and say hi to me at the Construction Management Online table. You can also subscribe to our newsletter to get any updated information on what's going on in the construction world. And other than that, I will see you next Monday.